5502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get to our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender. Scott Huml is not in the house, but he is with us. TACMIT is the name of his company. You'll understand that better. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. There is always something in these wonderful United States of America to celebrate, even though we are sitting here in Calizuela. Let's take a look at what the excitement is for the day today. We've got National Camera Day. Really? We're doing that these days? Yeah, I don't think so. National Almond Butter Crunch Day. Having beaten anorexia, I always look at these things. It looks to me like we would just call that peanut brittle. I like that one. We'll have to see where it falls in line. And National Waffle Iron Day.
It is what it is.
You know, if you can't have the waffle with the butter and syrup and all that stuff, let's just skip that whole thing. Waffle Iron Day. Now, who wants to celebrate waffle iron? So if we can't do the waffle, we'll go with the National Almond Butter Crunch Day. I think we'll stick with that one. That'll work for me. Okay, let's take a look at the markets today. What are they doing? Where are they going? With an uptick in coronavirus, the stock market is up. Does that make any sense to anybody? We've got areas of the country that are shutting down and the stock market's up 390 points. Well, maybe it's because Boeing is on the way up. Yeah, they're doing some testing of their 737 MAX jet. S&P 500 up 29, NASDAQ up 76, oil up 52 cents a barrel. Do we even want to see what's going on with gasoline prices? Sometimes I just don't even, I want to keep my eyes closed. And like so many people at so many times, we put our heads in the sand. And I think we're having a little trouble with the site, with our AAA site this morning. So we're probably not going to give you the gas price numbers, but let's see if I can get it off. Safari doesn't want to do it. Maybe they're boycotting Safari like they're doing with Facebook, right? Facebook's having a lot of problems out there, so they're not wanting to give out that information from Facebook. The advertisers are saying, you know something, I think we're going to stay away from Facebook. And I have seen a few of the companies. It's fascinating to me. You know, and I'm easily amused. You all know that already. But it does fascinate me watching this new website, the new version of Twitter coming out. Have you got on it yet? It's where you don't get censored. You can actually put things on there that you want to have on there that you want to see. Parler is the name. Parler. Parler is the name of the site that they're actually showing, where you can actually go there and have free speech. It's not censored by some of these goofballs at some of these social media companies. But you know something? We are in a goofball society right now, so we can expect some of these things to happen. U.S. 10-year Treasury, 0.64 right now. That's down just a little bit. 0.64. So you're going to get about just a little bit more than half a point of interest on a 10-year note. Does that sound exciting to you? Ow! Yeah, I don't think it's that. Especially if you're a senior citizen, that's going to be hard to take. Italy is at 1.29. Germany's still about a negative 0.5% on their 10-year. See what happens with Italy as they are now firmly in the crosshairs of the president of the United States. He's not happy with what's going on in Italy, so we'll continue watching that one for you as well. Supreme Court comes out with a new judge, or a new ruling today. I don't understand this one, but you know something. I just report this stuff to you. So the Supreme Court comes out and they strike down a Louisiana abortion clinic law. Justice Roberts, along with his other four liberal friends, came out with this movement. Yeah, Roberts, he just votes with the Democrats on everything. But here's the issue, and I don't understand what the problem is with this one. He doesn't say anything about the idea of stopping abortions. He just wants the law, I should say, is simply about making abortion safer. Doctors performing abortions need to have rights to go to a hospital. So if something goes wrong, they want the doctor to be able to take his patient to a hospital instead of saying, you know something, this didn't go quite right, go find someone else to help you. Does that make any sense to anybody? I mean, trying to protect a patient's you just have to wonder sometimes where some of these things are going. But you know something? I am just a simple guy looking at some of these reports. What else is going on in the news? I think we've got a whole host. Yeah, I shared this earlier today, and I've been talking about this quite a bit. And as you know, I get in some serious hot water. Family members of mine are not happy with my opinion on the coronavirus. But hey, you know something? Everybody's got their own opinion. And half the time, even the doctors, the CDC, the World Health Organization, well, we know the World Health Organization is fabricating everything. But you look at our own doctors, and no one seems to have all the answers. They don't know all of the answers. Everyone's just practicing medicine. But I did look at the numbers here, and we've talked to you about this in the past. And it all has to do with business. It has to do with your home. It has to do with your finances. But here's the issue. We've had 110,000, according to the CDC website. I know everyone wants to challenge everything. So you can go to cdc.gov, or you can go to our social channels and pick up this information. I tell you exactly where my data comes from. So we've had 110,824 deaths involving the coronavirus since the first day of February. Since that time, we've had 1,254,931 deaths in all. So that says about 10% of our deaths as of that date in total are from the coronavirus. Now let's take a look more recently. As the week of June 20th, 2020, latest data they have on the CDC website, 906 deaths total. 906 deaths from coronavirus. 29,131 deaths total. So what's that, about 5%, give or take? I guess it's less than 5%. 1,400 would be 5%. So maybe it's about 2 or 3% of the total deaths in our country coming from the coronavirus. Yet, if it's not Black Lives Matter on the news, it's the coronavirus on the news. Are we sweating the small stuff now? And I don't say that death is small ever, right? It's hit close to home. It's in my family. So I understand it. as much as anybody understands it. I don't know anybody who's really a genius on this subject, but I do get it. And I've talked to you about the idea of personal responsibility. I've got family members who I think should be quarantined. They are quarantined. I've got others that are watching themselves. But we're talking about the 900 incessantly, and we don't talk about the 29,000. We're talking about, according to Attorney General William Barr, 10 people this year who have been shot by police, black people shot by police. Yet there's hundreds every weekend that are shot in Chicago, black people shooting black people, and we don't talk about that. When are we going to start talking about the big stuff instead of focused on the little stuff that we think is what really matters? I just throw that out there for you to consider. I look forward to your comments. I know I get them. I look forward to your comments. We'll get those. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio. Hey, we're going to talk this week. We've got a holiday shortened week ahead. Wall Street House testimony from Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin. I think that's going to be in front of the House Impeachment Committee. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the Intelligence Committee. I mean, they don't really have much intelligence there. One day early this week, Thursday, the government reports its June employment report. The stock market's closed on Friday. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. It's for Independence Day. There might be something new that we have to call that because it's the way our society is. I don't know what I can say anymore, so I just tell it like it is. You know that. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to chat about home mitigation, COVID cleaning. What are the real estate experts saying about the rest of 2020? The proper way to pay your credit card bills. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990, or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. Once again, the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 445 points. The NASDAQ is up 94.29 as I speak to you right now. S&P 500 up 32.54. 10-year Treasury is flat. Mortgage-backed securities up ever so slightly. But you can find that all on that super secret website, google.com. You know that. Why are you listening to us? Because I'm going to tell you why it's happening. So basically, Boeing started their certification flights of the Boeing 737 MAX today. Investors are now at euphoric levels according to the Panic Euphoria Index. Last time we were at these levels, we did see a pullback in stocks. If that were to occur again, bonds could benefit. So far this morning, mortgage bonds are trading fairly flat. Very busy holiday shortened news week highlighted by the Fed, housing news, and jobs data. Markets will be closed in observance of July 4th. They're going to do that on July 3rd. Even July 4th, we don't celebrate the right day. Market is estimating 3 million job gains in the ADP and the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, jobs reports. Unemployment rate is expected to drop from 13.3 to 12.3 because of the market closing on Friday. The BLS jobs report will be released on Thursday. So we're getting all of that. And to this morning, a little bit earlier today, we did get some housing numbers. I'm trying to see if I can get that for you to show up on my screen. We're having a little bit of screen issues this morning. Every once in a while that happens. But I did note that we had a pretty strong, a pretty robust pending home sales measures, signed contracts, and existing homes increased by 44.3% in May, which was higher than expectations. 44.3%. 44. Stop that, guys. Stop that. Turn that off. Yeah, home sale. That's the signed contract. So within the next 2 to 3 months, those will be closing. I can tell you we've had a lot of folks recently on our private clients have been calling us and telling us they're getting their offers accepted. I'm going to put out today a short piece showing you what happens if you wait and don't continue shopping. So that's the Mortgage Minute today, being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has the programs and the products. But let's chat with our friend. Scott Huml is on the line with us. He's sitting there. He's got a great studio. I don't know what brand, make, or model of studio we've got Scott in today. Scott, what's the make and model of that studio? That's a nice studio.
It's an F350, new F350.
He's got a nice one there. So sitting there in his F350 studio. I sit here in the library. So Scott, tell us a little bit about, I had to change it because in all my notes, I lost the note that said it's not tactical mitigation anymore. It's TACMIT, which is a heck of a lot easier for guys like me to say.
It is. We kind of rebranded a little bit. Tactical mitigation services was a mouthful. So we go by TACMIT and trying to make a name for ourselves. Yeah.
What does TACMIT do?
TACMIT is a emergency services mitigation, fire, water, mold, insurance restoration company. So we're kind of the first ones in whenever you have a pipe break or a fire or, some sort of disaster, which is, now COVID exposure is part of that service. But we're the first ones in. We kind of help you navigate through the insurance claim, handle your responsibilities as far as mitigating damages to your property, documenting the entire loss, and we work for you, not necessarily the insurance company.
What does COVID exposure mean? I mean, how would I even know if I've had a COVID exposure?
So I guess if you are a business owner and you have employees that are testing positive that have been in your space, or your building or business has been exposed to a positive result, then the remediation is a little bit more intense than if you're just doing preventative measures, which can be done by employees taking excess responsibilities as far as wiping stuff down, or the bump up of employees doing janitorial services is us coming in and providing different levels of service.
Okay, so like I'll throw this one out at you. The Starbucks by my house, so there's probably 17 of them, but one of them had an employee that tested positive. So they closed down. What would one expect to happen then once that store closes?
Yeah, so what they're probably doing is trying to do a lot of this on their own, where they're wiping down, touch point surfaces and using a disinfectant or, wipes or what have you. We would come in a little bit more aggressively. We have certain products and chemicals that are all, on the list of approved products that, we're going to fog the entire space with electrostatic sprayers and saturate, wipe down, and just get a little bit more aggressive than your employee is going to do. And at the end of the day, we can give you a clearance and some sort of confirmation that work has been done by a licensed remediation company. And I actually have a COVID certification already that kind of gives us the upper hand as far as what we're able to do and what we're not.
Interesting. So when you go in and just from a business person's perspective, you go in and you do that fogging, does that leave residue all over that I have to go back and clean up, or how does that work?
Well, there is, you want it to dwell. So there is a little bit of a dwell time where you want it to sit for 10 or 15 minutes. And then part of the service is, in addition to that, coming in after, like I said, 10 or 15 minutes afterwards and doing that wipe down and hitting all your touch point surfaces and wiping that stuff down. But what we use is a similar product to what we use for, the fire remediations and the mold remediation. It's a disinfectant cleaner. It's friendly for your pets and plants and stuff like that. It doesn't really leave much of a residue, but we wipe all that down.
Interesting. So that just fascinates me, not just because I don't know anything about if you ask me something about science, I'm lucky to be able to spell science. So
this is, I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is a product. It's called Benefact Decon 30. So we use this in a larger form. This is in my vehicle that I can spray with my hand sanitizers and stuff like that. But we have 55-gallon drums of that and all sorts of equipment that goes. We put that into our sprayers, and that's the majority of the product that we use right now.
So if I had a medical office, would you use that as something as preventative, or would that just be something at post exposure?
Yeah, so the preventative stuff is going to be done a lot. People don't want to pay for the services for us to come in on a daily basis to do this. So, there's a lot of businesses that are, having their maintenance or their janitorial services just have extra responsibility, and that's all fine and dandy now until if this gets to a different level of uncertainty, then I feel there may be a need for a monthly service or a weekly, or it's not a one-time service. This is going to be something that is reoccurring as you have exposure, because we can totally clean and decontaminate your space, and then the next customer comes in that's infected and you're infected all over again. So it's tricky. It's tricky.
It's going to be an interesting conversation that we're going to have going on for quite some time, just because we don't really know what we don't know. And I would say doctors' offices are probably going to be, or dentist offices, they're going to be the area that you're going in there because of a issue. So you think some of them might be. Now restaurants are talking about, some restaurants are doing it nightly. I heard of I watched a grocery store on the East Coast that they have a service like yours coming in nightly to clean. Is that normal?
I mean, so that's kind of, when I talk to potential clients who are active during the day with clientele and, movement, that we would come in after hours and do that as an after hours service. Absolutely. Makes sense. And obviously, at the end of the day, you got to make sure that whatever you were exposed to is clean for the next round the following day.
So what you're really doing is you're weighing the cost. Obviously life has no you can't put a price on life, so to speak, is what I was trying to spit out there. But you're balancing the expense of doing something like this with trying to stay in business, right? There's a lot of businesses right now that are out there really, really hurting from either restaurants that are not getting their full capacity, doctors that are having minimal hours, or people. Obviously, the movie theaters, they're in serious trouble. And we don't even want to talk about cruise ships, but that's a whole different story. We're going to talk more with Scott Huml when we come back. We're going to talk a little bit about, maybe a lot about, fire, water, all these different issues, foundations for a claim. What are the right questions? How do you avoid getting stiffed by the insurance company? Yeah, that's the issue that I want to know. What else? What are the experts saying about the rest of 2020 in real estate? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
In the middle of one street. Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest, SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. The digest will tell you precisely what the county recorder knows about your property and what the market believes about your property, and it's free. What are the experts saying about the rest of 2020? One of the biggest questions on everyone's mind these days is what's going to happen to the housing market in the second half of the year? Based on recent data on the economy, unemployment, real estate, and more, many economists are revising their forecast for the remainder of 2020, and the outlook is extremely encouraging. Here's a look at what some experts have to say about key areas that will power the industry and the economy forward this year. Mortgage purchase originations. Joel Kahn, Associate Vice President of Economic and Industry Forecasting, Mortgage Bankers Association, quote, "The recovery in housing is happening faster than expected. We anticipated a drop-off in Q3, but we don't think that's the case anymore. We revised our Q3 numbers higher. Before, we predicted a 2% decline in purchase originations in 2020. Now we think there will be a 2% growth this year." Home sales. Lawrence Yoon, Chief Economist, National Association of Realtors, quote, "Sales completed in May reflect contract signings in March and April. During the strictest times of the pandemic, lockdown, and hence the cyclical low point, home sales will surely rise in the upcoming months with the economy reopening and could even surpass 1 year ago figures in the second half of the year." Inventory. George Ratui, senior economist at Realtor.com, quote, "We can project that the next few months will see a slow yet steady improvement in new inventory. We projected a stepped improvement for May through August months, followed by a return to historical trend for the September through December timeframe," unquote. Mortgage rates. Freddie Mac, quote, "Going forward, we forecast a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage to remain low, falling to a yearly average of 3.4% in 2020 and 3.2% in 2021. New construction. Doug Duncan, Chief Economist, Fannie Mae, "The weaker than expected single-family starts may be a matter of timing as single-family permits jumped by a stronger 11.9%. In addition, the number of authorized single-family units not yet started rose 5.4% to the second highest level since 2008. This suggests that a significant acceleration in new construction will likely occur." Bottom line, the experts are optimistic about the second half. If you paused your 2020 real estate plans this spring, let's chat about how you can re-engage in the process. That's the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. We're chatting this morning with Scott Huml. TACMIT is the name of his company. fire, water, and COVID remediation. So I just throw a little extra on there for you, Scott, just to be helpful.
I appreciate it.
So what do you, when we were talking before the broadcast, you were talking about a solid foundation for a claim. What does that mean?
Yeah, so most people have never filed a claim and aren't familiar with dealing with their insurance company. So when that process first starts, the carrier often will try to control the process by sending out one of their vendors that they have pre-negotiated contracts and relationships with that work for them, don't work for you. So they're not going to volunteer any information that's going to cost them money, that's going to help you out. They're simply there to get in and get out and save the carrier as much money as they can. So what we do is we come in and we kind of help lay the foundation for a solid claim by teaching you the process, kind of advising you a little bit on how to ask certain questions and kind of what your policy, we're not licensed by the state of California to interpret your policy. So, if you're able to read your own policy and understand the language within it, then we can help you ask certain questions that we already know the answers to, but we're not public adjusters. So a public adjuster will take a fee for interpreting your coverage. A lot of times I feel that's unnecessary in the early stages. And if you are able to lay a good foundation and set it up properly, then you don't need to throw away, meaningless money by, having somebody else interpret the language. If the people doing the work and the people paying the bill can agree, then, you're well on your way to a successful claim.
So basically, if I'm hearing you right, you're going to give me some ideas of questions I should be asking. While even though you know the answer to them, you're not telling me what the answers are. But hey, Ron, you might want to ask about additional expenses or
Exactly. So there's things that I can talk about as far as my job and what we're doing on a project and why it can't be fixed and needs to be replaced or can't be cleaned or what have you. That's talking about the specific work. But when it comes into, an interpretation of your policy, and you brought up a good point with your housing and your additional living expenses of, if you live in a 4 or 5 bedroom house and, Anaheim Hills, and they want to put you into the Residence Inn for 6 months, you might be okay with that, but what you're entitled to is a totally different story. And if you don't ask for it, they'll never give it to you. So I teach you kind of something, I just give you options. And, when they're trying to steer you one way, I'll say, hey, these are the other ways that you can go, whatever works best for you, then we'll figure out a game plan to put that into action.
Yeah, I've from my personal experience, the insurance companies are not our friend. They're there to collect premiums and pay out as little as possible.
There's definite truth to that.
Right. Right. They want to get your property back, hopefully to something similar to what you had, but they're not the ones that have to live with it after the fact, and that's the whole issue.
Right. So you get matching issues and stuff where floors run continuously throughout the whole house, but they want to break it at the door because it was only affected in one room. But you didn't have a break at the door before the fire or the flood, and why do you have to do it now? If the floors run continuously through the seams, then they should pay for the whole house, and that's easier said than done sometimes.
Right, because most of us, they write these contracts by a bunch of lawyers who are putting all the legalese in there, and it's written by the insurance company. So if it's been written by the insurance company, it's not for my benefit. Right, that contract.
Correct. Well, that's what the Department of Insurance is for. So there's uniform that they all have to kind of adhere to, where if you know how to read your policy and you're familiar with the law and how they're governed in California, then you can beat them at their own game if you know how to play.
So I was with a gal this last week, and she'd had a flood in her house, and Turns out that
I didn't get that call. What happened, Ron?
I didn't hear about it initially, otherwise you would have. I only heard about it after the fact, and after they'd already done some mitigation, and they told her that, you know, the wall has asbestos in it.
Right.
And I said, well, my understanding is, being that your house was built in the 70s, every house has asbestos. Is that correct?
Not every house, but it's definitely cause for concern. So one of the first things that we do on every job is get it tested. That's before I can cut walls and open things up. I have to test everything, even if it's prior to, or, you know, post 1980. It was still being imported from. It's still to this day being products imported from other parts of the, you know, world that contain asbestos. If it's manufactured in USA, there's no asbestos, but we don't know where it came from. So we test everything for lead and asbestos. We test everything.
And that's a good safety precaution, just because you need to know the answer to know what's going to be safe for you to go and do.
Well, absolutely. You know, and you know, my guys take all the PPE precautions. You know, we're full suits and face masks and filters and gloves and the whole 9 yards. So we're taking those precautions. But if we cut a wall that has asbestos and it's not contained, or, you know, and somehow that all cross contaminates, then that's a major liability issue. So we test everything. I'd rather, especially if the insurance company is involved, they're the ones paying for it anyway. So there's no reason not to. It just gives everybody a peace of mind.
Now, am I going to call you before I call the plumber to get the water turned off, or do we call you at the same time, or when does somebody call the remediation company?
Yeah, so I would recommend calling us before you call your insurance company. But if you have, you know, water spewing, you need to get a plumber out there to stop it. But the extraction of the water, the drying down of the building, that's all your responsibility, regardless if you have coverage or not. If you read your policy, it says, you know, at conditions of a loss, your duties at the time of a loss, number one, is to prevent further damage to your property. So if we're your first call, then we can kind of help you lay that foundation, document things properly. Because often what happens is people call in, you know, and they say things. When you file a claim, your insurance company asks you, you know, 30 questions, and the reason they're doing that is to try to find out if there's opportunities to deny you or delay coverage by, you know, people saying that, oh, I have mold under a sink. Or if you call your insurance company saying that you have mold, when it's really a water loss that has turned into a little bit of mold, that mold verbiage is gonna enact a red flag that will more than likely get you denied, to be honest with you.
We've had home inspectors come on. We've had home inspectors come on our broadcast that said every home has mold in it in one way or another. It's just a matter, is it good, bad? I mean, we need to have some of that bacteria in there. We're going to continue our conversation. Scott Huml, TACMIT is the name of his company, and we're going to continue talking about that. The proper way to pay your credit card bill. Did you know it's not just by check? We're going to tell you the proper way from a FICO scoring standpoint. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
House in the middle of our street, our house.
Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp. and unhappy clients to a private survey so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRE NMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The best way to pay your credit card bills from a FICO score standpoint, I would say about 90% of the people I talk to pay their credit card bills the wrong way. They wait, they get their statement, they pay it. They pay it between the time that they get their statement and the payment due date and say, hey, Ron, I paid my bill in full. And I said, wonderful. The Bureau does not going to report that, or they're not going to get that information because they're not going to know about it until your next statement closing date. And you'll have already racked up your credit card bill between the time that you made that payment and the next payment closing date or statement closing date. So your $900 credit card bill will be back at $900 by the time you get to the next statement closing date, so it shows that it never changed. Now, how do you do it the right way then for a FICO scoring benefit? It entails just a little bit more work from you about a week before your statement closing date. Go online, find out what your credit card bill is, the amount of it. Pay it off before the statement closing date. That way it's at its lowest amount possible before the statement closing date. It's going to come out and it might show a zero balance or maybe 5 or 10% of the limit. That's going to help your credit score. So if you had that $900 bill on a $1,000 card, that's a 90% utilization. That is not going to help your credit scores. That is actually going to hurt your credit score. Yeah, so the idea there, I guess there it is, it hurts. Now, pay that bill right beforehand, and you've got say you pay $900, you only spend another $10 or whatever between the time you pay it and the closing date. Well, now you've got $10 spent on a $1,000 bill under that 10% number. It will help your FICO score. Do that on 4 or 5 credit cards. Watch how quickly your score will improve. That's Your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Chatting this morning with Scott Huml, TACMIT, talking about fire, water, restoration, remediation, just dry the garbage up so I can live in my house again. But you know something? You can call those guys in the green truck who are getting paid by the insurance company. And do you think they're going to help you get the what you're entitled to? I'm not saying that you're trying to take advantage of the insurance company. I'm saying as a consumer advocate, you need to get what you're entitled to. Scott, before the break, I was telling you about this lady that I was at a meeting at, and she had gone through this process. And I said, well, you've got a 4-bedroom house in Anaheim Hills. There's 5 of you living there. They've already told you that you've got asbestos, and they've already told you that the entire bottom floor of your house is going to have to be remediated. But they tell you that you can live in the upper floors, so just stay there.
And when you say remediated, that means like down to the studs and totally unlivable. But go ahead and live through it anyway, because we don't care.
Right, because you've got the asbestos, so they've got to cut it out, and they've got to, do all the stuff that they've got to do to get it to a point where, it's not water saturated. And I said, I think you need to talk to your adjuster. And you tell me, Scott, you're the expert here. I'm just a radio guy. I said, I think you're entitled to different living expenses as from the insurance company.
Yeah, they try to keep you in the house as much as they can. But if you're without hot water or without a kitchen or your laundry room, it is very feasible to request housing. But if you have a couple bedrooms affected, they will definitely try to keep you in there, saying that it's livable, and it's going to be up to you to tell them that it's not, and that it's unacceptable, and it depending on the carrier, it might be a little bit of a battle.
I had several years back, I actually had it where we had three rooms at the Residence Inn, just because it was convenient for us at the time. And right now, there's not a lot of rental property out there. So I said to her, you've got a family of 5. They need to be giving you something comparable. They're not going to put you in the Ritz-Carlton.
It's fully furnished, and it's not just, it's comparable or better. So it's not comparable or worse. It's comparable or better. So that doesn't mean a 3-bedroom house. It means a 6-bedroom house if they can't find something. So your attorney, any attorneys out there that go through claims, it's amazing how they get things the right way, because they understand the language in their policy, which is a legal contract between you and your insurance company.
So how long does it generally take? How long are you involved in the process if there's a water claim?
I'm usually on for the first week, sometimes 2 weeks, depending on how big the job is. But when we have to clear dry your lower level of your house, we have to get rid of all that furniture too, and it's called the pack out, where we have to wrap up and pack everything out and move it to our facility and facilitate those repairs. So it could be every bit of a couple weeks.
Is there a finite amount of time that the insurance company has to get my house put back together?
Depending on the carrier, sometimes they'll limit your housing to 12 months. Some of it's as incurred. So, if it takes you 18 months to put your house back together, they should owe for that. But usually, you have about 2 years to do the work. A year to file a claim, 2 years to do the work.
Wow.
Standard.
So getting it set up from the very beginning properly becomes a huge, kind of sounds almost to me like building a house. If you don't have a strong foundation, you might be in trouble long term. On a claim like this, if I don't have a strong foundation, I might be in trouble throughout the rest of the policy or the rest of the project.
100%. And it's much more difficult to come in after the fact and look at, a scope of work written by an adjuster that was unrepresented by the homeowner, where he's just there looking at whatever, nobody's telling him what to look at or encouraging, talking about the scope of work as it progresses. So if I have to come in after the fact and engage and try to open something up, it's way more difficult than it is in the beginning. Absolutely.
How am I going to? How is somebody going to find you? And when I call the insurance company, they're going to probably call the guy that's going to help them lay the foundation for themselves, not me.
Yeah, so that's kind of where getting the word out helps. We want to be that call before you call your insurance company. You want to call your emergency services contractor, and we want to be that guy. We want to be here to help you and respond quickly to minimize the damages, but at the same time documenting the loss, engaging with your insurance company, and making sure that your interests are protected, and we got you covered.
What areas do you cover? You mentioned earlier that you were in I think you said you were in the northern part of our coverage map. What areas do you cover?
Yeah, so my office is in Westlake Village, but we cover all of Ventura County, LA County, Orange County. I try to stay out of the Inland Empire if I can, but for the right job, we'll go anywhere. We'll go anywhere.
And do you have a website, phone number?
Absolutely. TACMIT.com. You can go there, check it out. If you go to Tactical Mitigation, it'll reroute you to TACMIT. And then our phone number is 855-4-TACMIT.
TACMIT.
Correct.
Beautiful. Appreciate you coming on, educating us. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.